I'm Trevor Harley, Facilities and Operations Leader. Today I'm going to be teaching you 5 AI tools that are saving me over 5 hours in a single week as a facility manager. Let's dive in. Number 1, Claude. I spend a lot of time as a manager trying to put together different project communications, project kickoffs, team updates, stakeholder emails, monthly reports, you name it. I'm spending a lot of time and trying to make them polished for that specific stakeholder that I'm going to be sending the email to. Claude actually has a built-in project feature where you can create a folder, designate a project, you can call it facility manager or John or whatever name you want to give it. You can craft your own voice, give it specific instructions, and give it example pieces of your own content to make sure it nails down that voice narrative. What's great about this is you can compile notes, ideas, brainstorming, whatever you jotted down for that communication, put it into this Claude project, and it will actually spit out a polished template or at least a rough draft communication for you to send. Here's how I actually use it. I set up the project with my specific communication standards, drop in a few examples of some past communications I might have sent in the past, and whatever material you think is going to be most like your voice. Then, anytime I need to write something, I open the project, I drop this in, then I just added my own tone, my own voice, and make it sound much more like me as opposed to, the AI slop. One thing to note on this, make sure you proofread it because there is a good chance there is some sort of AI phrasing. What's really common now is it'll say, it's not this, it's that, or it'll add in way too many emojis. It's kind of evident now when someone sends an AI written email. So make sure you're using it more so to compile your thoughts, put together your communication, and create that polished framework where you can kind of use it to brainstorm and noodle off of so that you didn't miss any gaps, you have a clean email, and that will be good for whoever the stakeholders are that you're going to be receiving it. And like that, easily 1 hour, maybe 2, depending on how many you send per week, just in communications and buttoning up your notes. Number 2, Perplexity AI. This is totally free, essentially code compliance on demand. Your engineers are gonna love this. And just a disclaimer, this is not to replace code requirements, but this is more so to look up and reference any local AHJ or any local code requirements based on your location. If you've ever had a code question in mind, you know the drill. You go to the architect, you go to the contractor, you wait for the subject matter expert. Next thing you know it, you're looking up the code, the local AHJ code. You spent 45 minutes trying to hunt down your specific location, your code requirements, and there's your afternoon completely gone. Perplexity actually gives you jurisdictional data in seconds. So you could search the code right from your computer. You can check various egress requirements, ADA compliance, fire extinguisher code, and it shows you the sources so that you can verify before anything goes forward. I know I said this, but just to reiterate, it's not a replacement for your consultant, your architect, the actual code itself. And I'm not advocating to replace this. So you still want your subject matter expert to sign off on this before it goes to design. But on the front end, this saves your team a ton of time, and you can match this, you can build out your SOPs, you can build out some of your frameworks and your playbooks for your site based on some of these local code requirements. And sometimes you can catch things that maybe are new updates that haven't actually hit your company's wide books just yet. So when you're scoping, validating, or just doing a sanity check decision for maybe a new inspection procedure or a PM schedule, it's a massive accelerant. Now, quick reminder on this before I go to the next tip, why do these tools matter so much? Did some research, and the average facility manager spends between 25 and 40% of their week purely on administrative tasks, purely on admin work. This is like inbox management, paperwork, document hunting, drive hunting, writing updates, checking code, backfilling punch lists, creating those work orders, trying to talk to others, recalling old conversations and notes to put together that weekly update or that email right at the end of the day. And what I'm saying is that AI does not replace all of this, but it can take a huge chunk of the admin off of your plate. So if you could just get 5 hours back per week, 250 hours per year, that's over 6 full work weeks. That's huge. Okay, back to the list. Number 3, Whisper Flow. This one's free up to 2,000 words a week. Believe it or not, 2,000 words is a pretty decent amount, but you can get to that really quick. After that, it's $12 a month. And if you're using it that much, then it's probably worth it. Most tools do a really bad job of picking up my voice. However, Whisper does the opposite. It does a really good job of this, and that's why I love it. So you can literally pick up the phone, it's an app, it's on Android, it's on iOS, you open it up, you literally just press a button, you start talking, it starts typing for you, and anything that you type and finish in that recording, it actually saves in the app, so you can easily copy and paste whatever you said into a doc, into a work order, whatever other AI tool you're using to spit out, work orders or preventative maintenance. Huge time saver, great to go on the fly. Oftentimes, this has worked really well if I'm walking, doing an inspection, doing a punch list walk, narrating out loud as I go through the building for inspections, and capturing all my notes in certain areas. And then I can just easily copy and paste any of those notes into a doc, email, work order, CMMS system, whatever that might be. I used to do the walk, scribble the notes down either on a piece of paper, try to do it on my phone via like the Notes app or whatever you use, have conversations, go back to meetings, and finally at the end of the day, when I try to recall everything I said, sometimes my notes were incomplete, I couldn't recall those conversations, I'd be drained after all the meetings, and none of my material would add up. Now with Whisper, I can easily see what I said, copy those notes, and paste it to whatever tool is gonna get the job done. Okay, number 4, Notebook LM. This one, completely free. Again, a lot of these tools, free, which is great. This is the one that totally changed how I dealt with leases, warranties, closeout materials, any sort of as-builts, and large amounts of PDFs. Notebook LM was a game changer. I think everyone knows this as a facility manager. You get a handover package, you get the closeout docs, it's 40 something pages, it's a giant drive, there's all the as-built, all the finishes, all the warranties, and everything is just these massive PDFs that take you forever and ever and ever to scroll through. So by the time you're looking for whatever detail you're trying to find, you spend hours, sometimes days, sometimes weeks to just figure out very specific pieces of information that now Notebook LM could digest in seconds. So how does this work? You go to Notebook LM, you create a new notebook, you upload any of those PDFs, any of those documents, wait for it to queue, and then you have a bunch of different ways you can query it. You can ask it questions, it will cite the sources. You can say, hey, what's our responsibility? What's the specific finish? I'm looking for O&M material on maybe the HVAC or the mechanical equipment. It will search the entire document, scour all the sources that you upload, and give you the right response. It's super fast, super convenient, and you can even create different types of format to understand that information, whether it's slide decks, podcasts, or now you can even create videos with all the information that you've uploaded. My favorite feature, turn this into a podcast format, and it sounds weird, works incredibly well. Number 5, Power Automate or Google Studio. Whichever one you have, Microsoft or Google, it's the same thing. Teams, Gmail, both of them are free if you have the business version. If you have Microsoft 365, this is free. If you have Google Workspace and the business plan, this is free as well. Pick whichever one matches your setup. This is actually my favorite problem that AI has solved so far, at least with all these tools in this current list. Number 1, because it deals with urgency and it filters my inbox incredibly well. So what do I mean by this? Well, I think as a facility manager, you barely get enough time to check your emails throughout the day. You come in, you're doing your walkthrough, you have early meetings with contractors, you have team meetings later on that day, conversations, you're stopped in the hallway, an emergency happens, you get pulled in a zillion directions, and then by the end of the day, you finally get to look at that inbox, and what do you know? You missed an email from your manager, from one of your most important stakeholders, and you just didn't get to it. You just didn't see it. So what Power Automate does in Project Studio is you can actually set up these flows that will notify you if you get an urgent or an email from a specific stakeholder. So you create a flow that instantly pings you, sends you a direct message straight to your phone the moment an email hits your inbox with certain words. For the example, I set up a flow that had the words urgent or executive or VIP, and I also set them up for my most important stakeholders and their email addresses, so that if I got any email with those following words or from those following people, I would instantly get notified on my phone. No scanning, no need for filters, no sifting through hundreds of emails, hoping nothing slipped through. If it matters, you hear about it immediately. You don't get a ping, it can wait. That one setup alone saves me hours per week. This is the real win. It removes the massive amount of background load and noise that gets trapped in your inbox when you really only need to know those really critical updates, especially if you're not at your computer. You don't have to worry about going through the inbox and getting buried with loads of emails. You can trust that you're just gonna get a ping as soon as something urgent hits your inbox. It's a game changer. Highly recommend it. I've seen tremendous value, and I hope you do too. Hours and peace of mind, that's why it's my favorite. Now, if this sounds like a lot, I know there's a lot of tools out there. I know AI is a buzzword. I know it's being plugged into anything you can probably think of. So here's where I'd start with these. Number 1, I'd try WhisperFlow first. That's the voice to text. It's super easy to use, very handy on walkthroughs. It's probably gonna be the most easy to adopt and the easiest to implement at first. Then when you get comfortable with that, you can move to something like Notebook LM that requires a little bit more nuance, a little bit more of just playing around with the tools. And when you're finally feeling ready, you want the most bang for your buck for that inbox management, go for the Power Automate or the Project Studio whichever one fits your system. Give that one a try, and I promise you, you're not gonna regret it. You're gonna get some hours back and save yourself all that admin time. And I'm sharing these because I've watched facility managers burn out. I've done this myself. I've had the massive inbox. I've tried doing the folders. I've missed the notes on walkthroughs. I didn't have a clear communication plan. I had jumbled emails. I was trying to get things out fast, and you miss it. Facilities is chaotic. There's a lot going on. So what I love about these tools and some of these systems, and they do save you the time, that's a lot of the admin work when you could be doing your real job, which is more impactful, being boots on the ground, solving the problem, troubleshooting the issue, dealing with the client, dealing with your customer, so you don't have to worry about all this admin work on the back end. I used to come out with new videos each week. Now I'm trying to do them when I get time. If you love these experience-backed tips about facility management, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.